Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's cast of the Spy Party Hidden Cup. The first round is nearing an end. We've got just two casts left. Today, joining me is my co-caster, Pwn Noob.
Howdy, howdy.
And the matches we have for you today, I'm going to take a crack at pronouncing these. I believe we have Rose O'Neill Greenhow versus Elsbeth Schragmüller, followed by Flauntabout versus John Revolta. Do you think that's correct, Noob?
That sounds correct. We got a lot of real spies, and then also John Revolta, who's one of the old art characters.
Personally, I've never heard of any of these, so maybe you can fill people in on who these characters are.
John Revolta is one of the 6 different or 9 different. There was just a bunch of like 3 different shapes, and he was the guy who wore the white. The others are spies, and I should know more about them because I've been to the Spy Museum in Berlin, and I don't. So go Wikipedia them yourselves, chat.
See, I assumed that Flauntabout was one of the old art characters because it's a pun name.
Oh, I've never. Who would it be? Maybe like
I
a
don't know.
green dress? Like green polka dot? I just call him polka dot. I don't know.
All right. Well, for those of you who don't know what the Hidden Cup is, we've got 32 of Spy Party's best players. Well, could be best. Could be new players, could be best players. We don't know. But we've got 32 of them signed up anonymously. We have no idea who anyone is. And they are going to be going through this 32 player bracket, single elimination, until we arrive at one victor in the end. And all throughout, players will be guessing who these players are based on their play styles, based on their venue preferences, based on anything at all.
Yeah, and we'll do our own speculation here as the casters. You guys can do it in chat. It's all good fun.
All right, well, with that, let's get into our first match here between Rose and Elsbeth. We're going to take a look at the venue preferences that they chose when they were signing up. And so, first thing we can notice is that Elsbeth, not a fan of some of the occlusion venues. They have a 5 that's always banned on Redwoods. They're not quite a fan of Aquarium either, though they are okay with Taehyun. But it looks like they really like High Rise and Ballroom. I don't know how much of a match that's going to be because Rose, kind of ambivalent on those. Rose really likes Pub. So I guess maybe we'll see Pub and Ballroom with a little bit of a compromise. What else do you think we might get?
Yeah, I think Ballroom and High Rise Pub are probably top of the list. Looking at
I'm
this.
also seeing Taehyun.
Yeah, Tan
They're
definitely.
both okay with Taehyun, so I think we're going to see some Taehyun here.
Roll
And
those
really,
dice.
Rose doesn't have much that they dislike at all. It's really just Redwoods and Modern.
Yeah, and that's not really telling. Like people saying I don't like Redwoods or I don't like Balcony. Like we've seen them be the most banned in the SCL when bans are a thing, and so it's hard to like say, except for like the few people who do really like Redwoods, like an Opie Wrights comes to mind, for example.
Yeah, and we have chat saying there aren't a ton of people who have Pub as their favorite, so the fact that Rose had it as a 1 could be a hint towards who they are. And there we go with the picks. We are going to have the Ballroom, we are going to have High Rise, we're going to have Pub, we're going to have Taehyun. So that's just some compromises between them. There's at least one player who really loves each of these, and the other person was just all right with them. And then we're going to round it out with Terrace at the end.
Sounds good. There are like overtime and even like extra overtime, like match equals points maps, but we're not likely to get there. I don't think we've seen too many overtimes just going through this first round, at least so far.
All right, then let's get into our first game. We're starting off with Ballroom, and it looks like Elsbeth is going to be spying first here, playing as Seek. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Not taking control immediately. Don't think that's necessarily going to be too telling, but there are some players who just very much insist on taking control just to have those chaos opportunities, like a chaos bug, or just being near something that they can do in those first actual 2 seconds when everything is just all too busy in the party.
Yeah, well, a lot of players like to chase the flirt very aggressively at the start. Elsbeth finally took control when it looked like the AI was going to bring them to statues, so we know they didn't like that. We try to join the seduction target in this conversation, but she wanders off to the green bookshelf, and with Cowboy there, we're not going to be able to get a flirt right now.
Yeah, we don't have too many options for things to do without just going to like inspects, for example. We could go line up a pretty good BB. There's only one person outside of conversation that's not the ambassador, and it's our seduction target.
Yeah, I
It
would
looks
say
like
moving over to the double agent is a good move right now, especially because you don't really know where your seduction target is going to land. You might as well start setting up for another mission. The only mission we're set up here is for a bug if the ambassador passes behind us, but we can't get a purloin here. We're not able to flirt. The double agent's out of conversation right now, and just over 2 minutes left, no mission progress.
I think there's a small proportion of the community whose favorite play there would have been to go to middle statues and also get the flirt. But this is the more sensible option here, getting the flirt. At 156 left, this is going to be rough, and they did not hit the green. The 34% is going to put us in a bit of strain. Red Dress does get a highlight here, and I think for a good reason. She's been everywhere except for in the conversation so far.
Yeah, well, there was a difficult fingerprint here on this bookshelf. Red Dress is the one who gets it, and she also has partial inspect, so that explains the highlight. We don't hit the action test for the fingerprint, though. If we'd hit it, we might have been in an okay spot. Red Dress is just not going to land anywhere that we can flirt with her. I think she might be going back over to statues now.
Yeah, I would like to see a consideration of swapping Red Dress's statue here. The problem is we have the book in hand, which really limits us in that regard. If we're going to be finishing, it's going to need to be a microfilm because we just don't have many other options. If we don't take the flirt here, we're really just giving up on the finish and hoping that someone else gets shot.
Yeah, it's not impossible to complete missions in a minute and 10 seconds. We would need to go to the window and flirt with her. Maybe we can do a banana bread, split into the window immediately, but Elsbeth not taking any of those opportunities. I think we really have to go for the contact, though. We might just be waiting for Red Dress to be in conversation with someone so that at the very least it can look like she's doing a fake. We're going to see where she lands now, but it looks like it's going to be the briefcase. That could get her shot for inspect finish with Prince finish if the sniper thinks she has flirt and maybe snuck in another mission like a bug at some point.
Yeah, if she walks across the ambassador here, she might also die. No,
But
good
she
bounce.
didn't. She went to the windows. If she leaves behind the ambassador here, that could get her shot. But I think Rose has a pretty good angle to watch for that bug. Definitely, we are certain that she did not take the bug. But if she enters a conversation with the double agent, it looks like she's going to. No, she curves around it and
Banana
she's
bread.
going off back to statues again. If she had just entered a conversation with the double agent, we could have gotten her framed, but she doesn't do it. Banana bread comes off, shot on Teal instead.
Yeah, the banana bread there happens at 8.5 seconds. And so it's going to be one of those really awkward spots with a bit of latency, a bit of like potential dancing at the end, where the sniper is going to be obliged to shot. It looks like they were already lining up the shot as the banana bread went off. So good stuff from Elspeth, really taking the only opportunity they had,
Banana
taking that
bread.
late banana bread because we just had a rough double agent. I think we're trying to keep red dress in, but really didn't have an option at the end. Good stuff from the spy, and I don't think this is necessarily a fault in the sniper. It's a really tense game when you just don't see anything happening because the spy isn't doing anything.
No, and I'm assuming Teal had missions done. It looks like she could have taken a bug on the ambassador there near the end, and it is just after she's coming back from statues. And really, Rose just doesn't have the angle to know if Teal is getting a bug on the ambassador there at the end at 15 seconds or not. So I understand why they felt a little bit pressured into taking the shot.
Yeah, I think we got a bit desynced here, so let's do it correct this time. We're looking at Rose O'Neill, Greenhow as the spy. Now down, looking to bring it back in three, two, one, playing it. Here we go. Also, AI controlling till they get to a pad. It's not something I've really considered so far in the Hidden Cup, but now that we mention it, I do think that does separate the player pool quite nicely.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain players who will just take control immediately to go veer towards the closest mission that they possibly can. Here's the seduction target coming into conversation with us. They're all the way across from us, though, so we only get 17%. Here's a double agent, though, and the other conversation with the SDA is pretty full as well, so taking the banana bread here would not be a bad move at all,
Bug?
especially with Teal coming in. We could do the banana bread, and then we could bug in the aftermath of it.
We didn't take the reverse drive-by. We are taking the walking bug. It does stick. Good stuff there from Rose. And we're parlaying it into a pretty sketchy briefcase, honestly. But if you can get the fingerprint here, we're not moving. There we go. Uh, we're in a really good start to like finish missions. 2:25 on the clock. This is where you want to be. Good stop. Rose moving and grooving.
Yep, I think that if you got that bug away without the sniper suspecting you for it, you have a lot of time left to finish the flirt. The 17%, didn't feel great in the moment, but now that we have it, all we need is one green and one white, and we'll be okay. We don't want the ambassador here next to us, though. We could get credited for a bug that we're not taking.
Thing you can do here when the ambassador's near you, like they were a bit too close, they're always going to get kicked out. You can always request a drink there, reject it, let the ambassador take it, and then you're right there for the fingerprint grab. It's not going to really work out. You're not meant to be offered that often, but it's a really powerful play and definitely something you want to have in your arsenal. Good green here. Good green.
Yep, we got the green that we needed. That means we'll be able to finish with just one more white flirt. That gives us 90 seconds to get one white flirt, one fingerprint, and a contact. It's perfectly doable, and as long as we don't rush it in the last 30 seconds or so, I think we should get away with a mission win.
Shoutouts to chat, by the way. 2 games in, already making bold accusations. Gotta love it.
Who do they think it is?
Someone's saying para. I'm not even sure for which side, but they just feel like it's para.
I think
Paratrooper, I should
for
say.
Elsbeth, they're saying that. Well, here we go. We're getting our contact.
Banana
It's
bread.
really not ideal. There's a decent number of people out of conversation, but the double agent is in with us. The SDA is in with just the seduction target, but that's something at least. It's not a contact that's going to be bad enough to get a shot if the sniper doesn't have a mission count on us. So we should be able to finish the flirt here. I hope these circles are close enough for a 32%. We're not quite touching circles with the ST there, but we do get it up to 100%. And now all we need is the fingerprint. The ambassador, though, has a drink in their hand. The briefcase is just nowhere in sight. It's all the way across on the other side of the venue. And so we're doing a purloin instead because we're not going to be able to get the fingerprint. But Elsbeth, not looking at the list at all, completely misses the take, doesn't even look at the tray at all. And so we get away with the mission win regardless.
Rose moving out of the position from the purloin, trying to get away from Toby there at the end, goes into a dance and uses the tall body of General as a bit of body block there. Wasn't really being lined up for the shot, a bit unnecessary, and a bit telling there if you're trying to decide, is this person a dancer or are they just human?
I think there's sort of a mix sometimes between dancing and other things. They're definitely dancing at the end, but I think when they take the list, even before they start dancing, they're already thinking, what's somewhere that I can walk that keeps me out of view of the sniper and, behind other people as much as possible.
Shoutouts to the
Uh,
Killers. Good band. We are now 1-1. Both spies won, correct?
That is correct. And we're moving on to High Rise now. We've got Elsbeth spying here as Green Dress, starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And for our mission setup here, we are going to have 3 hard tells off. That means we are going to have fingerprints on.
Okay, we get the early talk and a early low light. I think that was just a BB, or not BB, a DA low light misclicked. So we're back up. And we are clearly not flirting. If we were flirting, it'd be like another 17% with Disney. We got a nice slow start. I'd prefer not to have too many slow starts. We did have issues with our pacing last game to complete concession of missions. And I would like to see us try and get this 34 or 51 in. Good start here from Elspeth. As long as Seduction Target does not leave.
Yeah, I think it's okay. And it does mean that we're not really going to be flirt paired too much. We didn't do any obvious flirting in the
Don't,
first,
don't
45
do it.
seconds or so.
They're ignoring Toby. They're ignoring Toby. No, Toby has
Oh,
given up. What
oh
do we?
boy. Pick up a highlight
And
for
there's
that?
the
I think
highlight
we did.
for it. Ugh, rough.
Well, that's unfortunate. I mean, you have to think if we're highlight for that, it's because the sniper noticed it. And if you notice a Toby ignore, that's not really something that you can forget about. So I think we're going to be a pretty big suspect for the rest of this game. The real contact coming off now, it's a white test, so we are talking during it. I'm sure Rose is noticing that.
Yeah, the facing away from the camera can sometimes get you away with things that you shouldn't, but with a highlight for nothing, no mission completion, it's always a rough spot. Taking the drink here is going to prevent us from doing like a quick rush. Like we could have done something like middle statue into just finishing the flirt. Probably to our death given the highlight.
No, but I would say that we're still in a pretty good position here. 90 seconds left. We don't have to wait around too much longer for the flirt here, but Salmon leaves. We're not going to be able to get it there after all. Shouldn't be any harm in following him to the bookcase, though I guess that could be a little bit obvious to the sniper if they've been watching your flirts.
Yeah, it's one of the hard things with Hidden Cup is you're in game 3 here. Does the sniper care about us flirting a bookcase? For most players, you can say no in most situations. So this is high rise. People are going to be watching flirt more. And if you didn't necessarily go through the replay and see anything in regards to like flirting, maybe you would assume that you can get away with it. I don't know how the what the correct decision is, but it's definitely a choice you can make.
Well, the seduction target is off on a journey with the briefcase. We're
Up a bug.
taking the bug as we pass by the ambassador there, but Rose, completely on top of it, takes the shot.
Yeah, I think the Toby give up was the crux of that game. Just Spy not paying too much attention because they had other things distracting them. The fake banana bread and the flirt were more important than to Toby's career, and Toby's career is the most important thing in the game. We got to get that guy paid.
Yeah, I think Elsbeth took a good opportunity there. There was reason to think that, the sniper's watching Salmon return the briefcase. Maybe they're watching Salmon for the bug, and then as he walks away, the sniper sort of relaxes for a moment or takes the opportunity to go look elsewhere, wherever they weren't looking while they were watching the briefcase return. But instead, Rose just kind of held the angle there necessary to just see enough of the arm movement to take the shot.
Yeah, chat pointing out that the Orange Sari as the ambassador is an unusual choice. It's a choice I've made. Just having that slower ambassador means that you get things like double walking bugs. Uh, like the classic Pwn noob play is like Pearls and Orange Sari as a combination, because then you get like really nasty bugs where you're just walking at each other and they still stick for no good reason.
Is that the
Um,
classic Ponu? But I thought that was the classic T-Flame.
I mean, T-Flame's probably stolen it from me. T-Flame steals everything from me.
Interesting accusation.
Let's go watch T-Flame. I mean, Rose steal more things here on High Rise in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Actually,
And so
no,
Rose,
that accusation doesn't make any sense. We just said that the other spy was T-Flame, so they can't both be T-Flame.
Rose with
Good
a very
stuff.
interesting redirect there as she was on her way to statues, but decides that it's a good opportunity to go to more statues. And I think that's a good choice because why did we redirect? We redirected because there's already two people at statues there, Smallman and Seek. So if there's already a few statue goers, now here's Irish picking up statues as well, you have a lot less risk getting yourself a statue highlight amongst three other people.
Yeah, I think Rose has come in here as the stronger player. If we had to make a judgment here, only 3 games in, both the Toby catch there and that heads up play, that's someone who at least is paying attention to their party and responding, and that's not necessarily like a veteran play. Like you can see newer players who are really good also pull this sort of stuff off, but it's just really heads up, and I'm really proud of it.
So here we have Irish finishing statues. We also have a question from chat. Wouldn't you go to the statue and leave upon pickup? This is asking about the redirect we did from the statue pad. So it really depends on what part of the pad we were going to. So in front of each statue, the pad is a square. And so if we've chosen the same pixel on the square that we want to be standing at and someone else stands there, we will redirect. But if we've chosen a different pixel on the square that has room behind the person who's already there, we would keep going and we would only give up when they pick up the statue. Let me know if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's accurate as far as I know too. Uh, AI in general will do really weird things, and it's often hard just as a sniper or even as a player just in the game to figure them out in the moment. It takes a whole Discord to feed a family or whatever the saying is. We're flirting before we're doing the bookcase, though looks like they're quick to scroll through and get the grab on the book as soon as they could after the white flirt.
Yeah, so here's my worry. We said that Smallman and someone else started off at the statues at the back there. They're the reason we redirected. However, they didn't pick up a highlight for their inspects. We're the only one who did. So it looks like right now the top suspects are us and Irish. Now, Irish, of course, finished her inspects. She's doing a briefcase return now as well. So hopefully she looks very suspicious. We really want her to stay the top suspect because otherwise we might get shot when we finish the inspects and do a banana bread. Here's the moment for it though. Irish is in conversation,
Banana
we're in
bread.
conversation. We take the banana bread, a twin leaves as we're doing it, so both twins are out, but it preserves everyone else in the party as a suspect.
Don't love this drink take. This has committed us to just doing the bug. We aren't going to finish fingerprint, and we're going to really struggle to finish inspects. In a way, there goes Irish. Bye bye, Irish.
Yeah, I was really worried there because you would think that if you suspect Irish for finishing the inspects, and there's the banana bread, that would have been the moment to take the shot. But Elsbeth didn't take the shot on Irish right away, but instead took it over 10 seconds later the next time Irish talked. So Elsbeth wasn't confident enough to shoot Irish for the contact and inspects there, was hoping maybe she had one more flirt, and then shoots on the next talk because Pearls took a drink, which made Pearls not look like the spy hoping to go finish the inspects.
Yeah, if it really came down to the highlights, there was also Twin, but I think maybe this drink tank was actually the winning move, and that's a really heads up play there from Rose, or really boneheaded play that gets completely rewarded by the sniper. They look very, very similar. I do both.
Yeah. Yeah, because Pearls took the drink, it gave Elsbeth enough of the information they thought they needed to decide that it was just Irish after all.
We got some
So
more Seek. I believe we started off the cast here with the Seek game, so this will be Elspeth's second.
yep, here we are on pub. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Lazy Bear aware that Irish did double prints. Is it because he is the sniper in that game? Interesting.
Well, that would mean Lazy Bear took the wrong shot. Does Lazy Bear take wrong shots?
Never.
Correct. He
Can't be
does.
me. Can't be me.
Well, looks like Elsbeth is off to another slow start. Seems to be a bit of a pattern for them. They've never managed to wind up with their seduction target, even though it seems like that's what they want to do at the start of each game.
This is a good decision, though. We're lining ourselves up to be the next person in line after the ambassador takes for the early fingerprint. There's a lot of people at bar. It might be missed. It might just not be particularly suspicious because someone was always going to get this print. And it does give us a start that allows us to continue our pacing forward without necessarily getting that flirt. Now we should move towards our second target, though.
Looks like we've been low lit though. Is this a low light for fingerprint from Rose?
100% either T-Flame or not T-Flame, and it's just a mistake because I don't think anybody else lowlights for fingerprint. We haven't seen that in the first two games, as far as I can tell.
Andy lowlights for fingerprint as well. He caught it from T Flame. It
Oh,
is contagious,
when you say
apparently.
caught it, yeah, it's like swine flu is also contagious. Like, don't do it. It's not good.
Well, that's the second fingerprint from Elsbeth now. So, if the sniper is indeed tracking fingerprints with lowlights, they should know that Seek has fingerprints finished. Of course, the difficulty for lowlighting people is that when they're lowlit, you don't see them as easily. So, we have to hope, if that's the sniper's plan, that they did notice the second fingerprint.
Yeah, the reason I'm getting more distrustful about our fingerprint theory is there's just other people who have been low lit at this point. It looks like maybe it's just for not doing an early flirt, but that's a misread of how Elsbeth plays. Elsbeth hasn't had an early flirt in the first 2 games, so if it's just going to the bar and not flirting is all they needed to get a low light, you need to watch the replays. You need to find out that this spy isn't trying to rush you.
Well, Pearls has a low light while she was doing the briefcase. Sari picked up a low light for going to the right statue. I don't know if it had a fingerprint on it, though.
Okay, Ambassador's here in our bug lane, but it isn't going to be the best bug the vast majority of the time. It's just not going to be a good angle with where the pub laser always sits. And Ambassador's gone. Can scratch the idea anyways. We're sipping the drink. I kind of would have liked to gulp there. Just get this drink out of our hands so we have more options.
Yeah, 40 seconds left. I would hope we have options. The easy plan here is to get the contact and the flirt, but the double agent is off alone in conversation there. Even if we walked over to him, we wouldn't be able to make it there before he left. We really have to hope that the double agent lands in one of these 3 conversations. If not, we are going to have a major struggle, and that's it. The double agent is going inside the bar. The only way we can finish now is if we take a bug. We're lining up for it. We're walking along with the ambassador. We want it, but it's not going to happen. We enter the conversation. We get another flirt. 10 seconds left. We walk right by the ambassador and take the bug. We get brought back up to a highlight for it, but you don't have time to just move someone up to a highlight. You have to take a shot. 2 seconds of overtime. Shot on
Mr.
Taft
President!
head.
No,
What
was
just
that a
happened?
misshot, or did he just decide to shoot Taft?
Well, Taft is also doing. Is Taft also doing a mission there? No, Taft is. Yeah, Taft has the briefcase. So when the overtime starts, it could be that we wanted to shoot Taft for doing the fingerprint mission in overtime, or it could be that we were lining up a shot on Seek and we just missed.
I think that had to be a shot on Taft. Like, if that's a shot on Seek, you need to improve your FPS skills there, Rose. But I think that's a shot on Taft for the finishing fingerprint, and not believing that a low light could then finish as a highlight and bug. I don't think that's a terrible idea, right? Like, if you're low lighting someone and then they come back at the end of the game and you have a choice between someone who was low lit and someone who was high lit, and both of them are doing something suspicious, I think you're meant to shoot the highlight more often than not. This is the not that rare, but is the exception.
I want to know,
Yeah,
I think these players are having some latency issues in the games because there's a 2 shots so far where there's like a long delay before the score screen. So they could be like, it's possible that he actually tried to shoot Zeke. It's not actually 100% sure.
Yep, I mean, well, if the players want to say in chat what actually happened, don't do that. It's Hidden Cup. But let's go watch some more Spy Party. We can get the Rose perspective on pub here with General.
Let's get started in 3, 2, 1, playing it. But see, that just goes to show you the danger of low lighting people for inspects, because then when they do a bug, it's a lot harder to see it.
Yeah, Pofsky stepping up in chat and saying that they were trying to shoot Seek and that they missed. I appreciate that, Pofsky. Thank you.
Well, Here we go. There's Rose getting the first flirt and immediately leaving the conversation. That's the sort of thing that if the sniper notices it, it would put a huge target on your back, but a lot of snipers aren't going to be looking for the early flirts. Now, if Elsbeth is who we think they are, they could totally be catching that because they would be watching flirts, but we really have no idea who they are, so...
We have the delegate in pocket. With inspects off, delegate on pub becomes less obvious. When you have inspects on with like a different setup, you generally want to delegate to someone who's already had an inspect, just because then they have an inspect and purloin, and all you need is for them to get shot for the flirt or the banana bread. Here we go. Do we want to do banana bread bug? You know, I would.
Looks like we're going for it. It's going to be a white banana bread, though, so we won't be able to do the bug immediately, and that means the ambassador leaves. Meanwhile, Purloin has gone off. Duke has taken the list, and highlights are coming off on everyone who could have had a real BB. Is that what we're seeing here?
Yeah, I think they are taking the real banana bread light. Oh, there goes Seek. Bye-bye, Seek.
Oh boy, it looks like Elsbeth just had no clue who did that purloin and just felt like they needed to take a shot because that was real banana bread for people. It was a purloin, and it's pretty early to assume the flirt is done, though.
Yeah, so the situation that happened is the banana bread was 0.8 seconds before the purloin, so very much a good cover of the purloin. The problem with this play at its core is the person that you purloin to is at the bar. They are guaranteed it's going to be a delegate, but it's very distracting. There's definitely pros and cons with it, and it looks like Seek just got the shot for what would be the third assumed mission, also flirt.
Yeah, and with Seek in that conversation there, he was next to Boots for a decently long amount of time. He entered that conversation at 2:30. The shot comes off a little before 1:45, so maybe you could have thought he would have two flirted, but I don't know. Maybe a little bit of an early shot, but I understand why the sniper felt they had to take it.
Okay, it looks like we have a leader here moving into Taehyun. My scoreboard on the stream says 4-2 to Rose, and I believe it. We now have Alice, who has some nice gloves on, and they're going to be here at the front of the party? Back of the party?
You
I
never
never
know if
know
it's the
until
front or the
Damon
back
shows
of
up.
Taehyun.
Yeah, we'll
Well,
figure
there's
it out.
Damon.
In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yes,
Front of
and
the
just for
party.
those who don't know, this is a best of 10, so the winner is going to be the first player to reach 6 points.
Yeah, so the way you can tell Taeyen's front and back is the bookcases, by the way, and you can also, I guess, do it by the statues, but I'm not that clever. The blue bookcases are at the front, the green are at the back, and then Damon eventually goes and takes post at the front of the party. We're going with another early print. We've seen certain players really do like their early prints, and it looks like Elsbeth is one of them. When they do get their pacing in, they've been really delayed on their flirts so far, and I'd like to see a nice big 51 here.
Yeah, this is a nice spot to get the flirt. It's also a decent spot for the ambassador passing by. Depending on what the ambassador does, you might be able to get a reverse drive-by here if the ambassador goes from that back conversation out to the front here.
More innocent drinks. I'm an innocent drink hound myself, and I think Elspeth is somehow outdoing me. Just every time we get offered a drink, it's just an immediate take.
Yeah, I mean, the innocent drink take went well for them on High Rise. It took out Irish in the end. So maybe they learned that the sniper does care about those innocent drinks. Here we go. The ambassador came back there, but we're not going to take that bug opportunity. We're just going to enter here and flirt with our seduction target a little bit more. One more green could get us up to 100%, which would really open up our options in the second half of this game.
Couldn't get it. 85%. We're in a fine spot. Minute 50 left on the clock.
All right, well, 85% still a pretty good number. The ambassador is going to be leaving a fingerprint on that back statue there. I'm sure Elsbeth is watching for it. Probably not going to want to go for it right away, just going to let it cook for a while. That's fine. We have a lot of progress we can make while we're waiting for that. We could change conversations, go for this contact. It's looking pretty good. A lot of people in conversation. Rocker, though, the ST comes back to us. I think that's what we were hoping for. We get the 15% we need. Now we should probably start leaving for this double agent soon, because with over a minute left, if they leave, they might not get back in until a while later, and that's going to get dangerous. I thought we would be going for a bug on the ambassador there as we path to the back conversation, but looks like we weren't confident enough. We didn't take it.
Banana bread.
By the way, Elspeth is a German spy from the 1940s, or died in 1940, so World War II. And they are one of the first German women to get an academic degree. Meaning they were a smart lady. Just like
It
Alice
looked
here
to
getting the
me
fingerprintable statue. This could be game winning if you wanted to just do the swap right here.
Yeah, it looked to me like we were trying to take a bug on the ambassador when we left the conversation. It looked like we curved towards them, but the bug didn't come off. Either way, we have the prints done now, we have the seduce, we have the contact, and there's been no shot. Generally, if a sniper is onto you, they would have shot you by now because they would have assumed you could have gotten a bug at some point. Instead, though, Elsbeth going to be going for a green purloin. Definitely, it was noticeable that Toby was offering to us, and now Toby's going over to a low light. Wheels here. Wheels is going to be taking the drink. The fade is going to be very, very obvious right there on screen. Hard to line up the shot, though, with Rocker behind us, but instead, we're not sure about the fade. We take a shot on wheels instead, bringing him back to a highlight.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward there, getting the highlight on Elsbeth there at the fingerprintable statue, and then not catching the Purloin reject. Willing to shoot a low light, which, I mean, if you don't have anybody else pinned for it, sure, but not too many spy or snipers would end up shooting a low light there. Some would obviously just end up shooting a highlight, including the spy in this situation. Good stuff from Elspeth, just realizing after they didn't get the bug that Purloin was their only option. And they're bringing it back here. It's 4-3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think this is going to be really interesting to think about who Rose is when you just look at some of the highlight lowlight strategies that they've been taking. You know, on pub we potentially had the lowlights for fingerprints, and here they had the entire party lowlit except for 3, maybe 4 people. But even then, they weren't watching those highlights enough to catch the Purloin there. It's very, very interesting.
Other things that are interesting, because you asked earlier, Rose O'Neill, by the way, was a spy for the Confederacy in the U.S. during the Civil War,
Interesting.
and both female spies. Which, I mean, shout outs to the female doing important jobs there in old history. It wasn't 2020 back then. We got more female spies too. We're playing some more orange dress here. Uh, on Taehyun, this is still not match point, right? 4-3.
Mm,
You need to win 6 to close it out. So we got more to play for, and we'll do it in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
Yeah, Rose had a little bit of a lead, but they sort of blew it there with that sieve shot. Elsbeth has a chance to bring it back here. I would say both of these players, no one's really making any egregious mistakes. Sometimes the spies have had pacing issues. Sometimes the snipers have not been on top of things at very important moments where they should have been on top of things. But I would say no one's really playing, badly so far. I think either player still has a shot to take it here. I think Rose maybe has a slight edge, but I wouldn't be surprised if Elsbeth can
Banana
bring it
bread.
back to a tie here. I wouldn't even be surprised if we went to overtime.
We don't get the bug there after the banana bread. I think it would have been real nice to get that behind the back. And also, do make sure that we get Toby out of our face, which we saw was a problem earlier. Yeah, other than the Toby ignore, I think these players have been playing fairly clean. And it's really hard to say. Like when we talk about SCL and like, oh, they're a Master Division player. I mean, there's players that are absolute killers in every division. There's not much by saying that. Here we
Yeah,
go,
the
Rose.
banana
Where are we
bread was
going?
really good. The banana bread
Bubba
had,
Buck?
I think, every single person in conversation. So that's really good for us. I'm surprised we didn't just slot in next to Smallman there. We could have just gotten another flirt. I'm not sure why we were worried about that.
It's been a thing I've kind of noticed about Rose's play, and I don't think it's going to help me in judging who they are. They seem to be just a bit like one-dimensional minded. Like once they make a decision, they lean into it, and when that decision falls through, what are you doing, Okay, we're at middle statues, but Rocker deserves to die. Apparently, I don't necessarily agree. Maybe a bug path? No,
Uh,
what was it?
Not sure. Damon seems very interested. He's really, really running over to her, but no matter how much he runs, he just doesn't seem to get there.
Okay, yeah, she was next to the ambassador, so maybe like a phantom bug. I'm not sure what other suspicion they had, and I'm not sure why they weren't highlight if they're gonna be taking this shot. Really, I think just a one reason shot, because usually you'd have them highlight and then shoot them, but actually 0 highlights in this game, including us at Mill Statues not being highlight yet.
No, really, the only thing I could see from Rocker is that she was next to the ambassador a few times. Other than that, she really didn't do anything all game. So Rose is keeping the lead 5-3 here going into Terrace. Elsbeth would need to win 2 in a row to bring this to overtime. And what is this camera doing? Thank you very much for that, Lazy Bear. Let's get started with the game here in 3, 2,
Hold up.
1.
No,
Mm,
I need to recount that, please. It was
We're
loading
going to
into
be
me.
starting the game in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Thank you.
I didn't know that you could even get the camera that far out of bounds here.
Oh, Terrace is beautiful. That was the first thing I did in this map. Like on some maps, like Aquarium, we're trying to find like the cheeky things, and I think day one we found, or I say we, I mean Lazy Bear found the cheeky like hidden time ad spot. On Terrace, day one when it came out, I was just looking at the scenery. There was no reason, nothing more important about this map than just how beautiful it is. And shout out to John Semino, the artist of this game.
Yeah, Terrace definitely the most beautiful venue in the game. Well, here we are with the double agent.
Banana bread.
If Twin in general got in, that would have been a much better contact, but we take it anyway. It's only us, Orange Sorry, and Smallman who was in with the double agent, but Smallman was already a lowlight for whatever reason, and we're not bringing him back up. Yes, we are bringing him back up for going to the bar after the banana bread. Looks like Rose needed a little bit of time to consider it. That's good for Elsbeth, though, because if we were one of only 2 real BB highlights, that would have been really bad for us.
Yeah, we've seen 2 small maps now. We've seen High Rise, and we're going to see at least 1 game of Terrace, if not 2. So, this pathing's gross, by the way. Don't do that. So we're going to see a lot of these like cagey, like learn how they do lights on small maps. And the small man stuff here is a bit telling. I'm not sure what it's telling of, but it's a bit telling. We just have so many lowlights right now.
Yeah, and so we did do a fingerprint after that, but because we're already a highlight for the contact, that doesn't get overridden by a low light. Looks like we're going to be taking a bug here as we enter right next to the Amba. That is such an obvious entry for a bug, but it doesn't look like Rose is going to be taking the shot for it. Elsbeth gets away with it and takes one of the 2 points they need to bring this back to a draw.
I think Elspeth could have won this set already if they just had a bit cleaner play previously. And that's really like unexpected. I really had a read there that Rose was gonna take this pretty handedly early in the set. Showing up
Oh
when you're
boy,
down
Pro
the
Noob,
count
look
and
at
taking
what
this
chat
bug.
is letting us know. Elsbeth is not in the conversation.
Oh, at the end, that's cute. I like that.
She's just standing there. Somehow she's missing it. I mean, on the camera, it looks like she'd be right on that nice blue line, but no, she's not. And because she's not in conversation, she doesn't do the conversation idle animation. So she's not, shifting around back and forth, moving her arms or whatever. She's just standing there.
Yeah, it's gonna be the moonwalking bear. I usually reference it for things like NASCAR, just running around in circles on courtyard. But it's also this: if you're a sniper and you're watching for people just standing in the middle of nowhere, in what's a very high competitive, like your opponent's shown that they're skilled, you're not gonna see this. This is a 1 in 1,000 game from the spy. The spy doesn't do this, but you probably don't want to shift from the spot. Like if you try and shift in the conversation, that's how you die. So Elspeth making the right decision and the sniper missing it is moot to me.
I mean, why would you ever look for that? You would just assume that she's in conversation there.
Yeah, and if you were the spy there and you're watching where that laser is, it looked like they were trying to really consider the bug. It was sitting near us for a good 7 seconds and then on us for the last 3 seconds. Good resolve, I think is the word I'm going to use here to not like run away and dance and give away the whole gig. Jig,
Yeah.
jig. Are jig and gig different words?
Yeah, jig and gig are totally different words. A gig is
Oh,
like an event in like show business or something, or it's not, or it's like a job. A gig is just a job, and a jig is I don't
something
know
that
what
can
a
be
jig
up.
is, but it's
A,
what you
a
use in
jig
that
is up.
expression. Yeah.
That's all a jig is. A jig equals up. Uh, let's cowboy. Interesting choice in a small party venue, and let's do it in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
Well, Elsbeth just needs to take a sniper shot correctly here on Terrace to bring this back to a draw. That would send us into overtime. And if we do reach overtime, we would be seeing 4 more games of pub.
Yeah. Pub's not the map you want to be doing in the last round. Terrace isn't much either. The less missions there are, as far as I'm concerned, the more stressful it is because you just have less to shoot for. On something like Library, you can shoot for swap or shoot for purloin, and it's not hard. Like you just see them do the tell. On something like Terrace or like the worst things like Balcony, you're shooting for flirt. Good luck. Do that while in a very high pressure situation.
Well, we're here with the seduction target. We got the flirt up to 36%, even though she's pretty far away from us now. And with it's another white test. We're up to 61 now, so it's still going to need either 2 more white tests or 1 green to finish it off. I don't think there's any harm in staying here and going for 1 more flirt. I don't know if a green would finish it, though. No, it definitely would not. Or
Yeah,
would
I
it?
mean,
Would it get 39% here with a green?
what was the first percent? This is why
The first
I
percent was 38, I think. 37 maybe, so I don't think a green would finish it. But the
this is why
contact
I
is
have
starting to
slow
look
games.
pretty good.
Some games I literally just don't do anything except for flirt, and people wonder why, and it's because I'm trying to do green math for a whole minute and just standing there and not looking at the rest of the party. I assume that's not what happened to Rose here. Rose kind of doesn't want the seduction target to come in. If seduction target came into the same spot they were in previously, I don't think we have a chance of getting the flirt. This is actually a kind of a better situation because we can move over to them instead. This also
Yeah,
is
what
going to
I'm
be pretty
noticing
touchy.
is the really long hold on the banana bread. We had a lot of opportunities for it there, and we just didn't take any of them. And I don't think the sniper is going to be crediting us with that. I don't think the sniper is going to be thinking, "Oh, Cowboy could have done the contact, but they didn't." We're going totally under the radar here. Flirt is done now though at 100% finally.
Actually, we're lining up the fake, and there's
Banana
2
bread.
people out, so it kind of feels like a game-ending banana bread. The problem is it's not going to be a game-ending banana bread because we can tell in 10 seconds that the game doesn't end. Uh, Twin, if we delegate to Twin, for example, or delegate to Irish, I think we could pull off the win here and close out the set without the need for overtime. But you have to know a lot about what the sniper's worried about to pull that off. And we're not moving
Yeah,
towards the bar.
I mean, Twin and Irish are the only highlights here. They were both in for the contact. I believe they are highlights for Inspect. So we're hoping that one of them gets shot, but it hasn't happened. They would need to go, do something else at this point. We're entering here with the double agent. We enter next to
Banana
our
bread bug.
seduction target. Ooh, yes, banana bread bug. That's the play.
Banana
There's
bread.
the ambassador next to us. Hopefully we can get it before they leave. And we do. We take the bug right away. The ambassador leaves later, and there's no reaction from Elsbeth. They did not catch this bug, and Rose is going to get the final point and take the set 6-4.
Yeah, they put themselves in a spot there with the slow play, but I don't think this is too telling. Like Banana Bread
Banana
Bug is a
bread.
play that some players like more than others. I think people like to pin me for it, but the
Banana
reality
bread.
is this is the only play we had, and Rose acknowledges it. Hits the white test in the Banana Bread, which
Banana
isn't
bread.
brilliant. You'd really love to hit the green there, but gets away with it. And Elspeth's just a bit too distracted by the highlights to be ready to shoot for the bug.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good bug either way. The lean just merges in with our talking animation, and it's really not noticeable unless you're looking directly at it, which Elsbeth was not.